Supreme Court is getting a little nervous, and when I say Supreme Court, I'm referring to some of the fascist Christian justices. I've got mixed feelings about what they're upset about, and that is these protests outside their homes. But according to the Reuters news agency, the Supreme Court's top security officer has asked the state of Maryland, the governor there, Larry Hogan, who's a Republican, to enforce laws that bar picketing outside the Maryland homes of high court justices. And in the Supreme Court justice's request to Hogan, they're saying that the protests and what they call threatening activity has increased. The marshal of the Supreme Court, a person named Gail Curley, made the request in a July 1st letter to the governor, and she noted that Maryland law prohibits people from intentionally assembling, quote, in a manner that disrupts a person's right to tranquility in the person's home, end quote. That's part of Maryland law. And Ms. Curley told the governor, this is according to a copy of the letter that was posted at the Fox Sewer website. The letter said in part, quote, I'm writing to request that the Maryland State Police, in conjunction with local authorities as appropriate, enforce laws prohibiting picketing outside the homes of Supreme Court justices who live in Maryland, end quote. And we're fully aware of what prompted this. Well, it was a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, but abortion rights activists began protesting outside the homes of John Roberts and the drunk potential rapist, Brett Kavanaugh. They live in Maryland, and the Virginia home of Justice Sammy the Fish Alito. And those protests began back in May when a draft opinion was leaked indicating the court would overturn Roe v. Wade. And by the way, wouldn't you like to know how that investigation is coming along? Who, quote, leaked, end quote, the draft decision, and why? So anyway, the Supreme Court Marshal, Gail Curley, reminded the governor of Maryland, that in May, he said he was, quote, deeply concerned, end quote, over picketing outside justices' homes in his state. The governor made the statement in a joint letter with Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, another Republican, to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, and they were seeking enforcement of a federal law barring demonstrations intended to sway judges on pending cases. When it was a draft decision, when the case hadn't been officially decided, okay, but what about now? They're not trying to sway judges on pending cases. The case is over, thanks to these Christian Nazis. Anyway, the marshal told the governor, quote, since then, protest activity at justices' homes as well as threatening activity has only increased, end quote. And she added that protesters are using bullhorns, they're chanting slogans and banging on drums. And her letter also made reference of, quote, an attempt on a justice's life, which is an apparent reference to the arrest last month near Kavanaugh's home of a man armed with a handgun, a knife, and pepper spray. Things are spiraling, to use a cliche, out of control, are they not? And the frightening thing is, this is about, the triggering event was the Roe v. Wade the decision being overturned after almost 50 years of being settled law, which means that all three of these Supreme Court justices, well, actually, Sammy the Fish Alito was probably the only one who was honest enough when he was being confirmed to say how much he hated Roe v. Wade. But he's a Catholic nut fuck. who every time I see him speak, he looks like somebody who, if you invited him into your home, you'd want to put all the sharps away, because he appears to me to be somebody who could go off at any minute and start grabbing things to stab people with. No, I'm serious. He has that look of a madman in his eyes. I swear to God he does. Or am I just being prejudiced? But the precipitating event was that draft release, that leak. But what is coming is going to be even, I won't say more affective of the American people, because, taking away the right of women to privacy after 50 years of saying, oh, yeah, okay, you got that, is monstrous. But to reverse decisions about same-sex marriage, marriage equality, or a decision about the right of married people to use contraception, what? But that's on their agenda. The idea of, I think I said same-sex marriage, or even consensual homosexual sexual activity. I mean, who the fuck's business is that? And I've said before that these justices would never, ever, ever try to interfere with lesbian sexual activity, because that's probably what most of them watch when they turn on their porn machines. And they can't stand to watch male homosexual sex activity, because they get too, aroused and, oh my God, I'm not queer, am I? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.